also going to start recording now that I've said that. And then we're going to go screen share again, and we're going to go back here. Okay, so students, please check out the schedule at the Design Day link here that was linked many times in the main room to see exactly when you are presenting. I do have the schedule here, not a problem. Judges, please open the evaluation form and familiarize yourselves with the rubric. So if any judges don't have the evaluation form, which should have been emailed to you, I could always link it to you in the chat. So please let me know if you don't have it. Guests, enjoy the presentation. Feel free to ask the lead, me, if you have any questions. And that is my presentation. So I will now ask the judges to introduce themselves to the group. We can start with Paul.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul Steeves, and I'm a senior data analytics strategist with the City of Ottawa on the service transformation team.
Charlene.
Hi, everyone. My name is Charlene Lau-Air. I'm well, I guess the first part of my career was as an engineer in the aerospace industry. So I worked with the Canadian Space Agency and in the aerospace defense industries. I've since switched a 180 and now I'm a professional artist. So there you go.
Well done. I love the transition thing, Charlene, that's amazing. Wael Hassan, I am the CEO of KI Design. We are a Canadian company that provides big data analytics to federal government, and we have solutions that deal with privacy for hospitals. We have some of the major hospitals in Ontario as clients, and I'm happy to be here today. And thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, great. So we're going to start presentations now. And the first group to present is G1, Night Call Bell. So when you're ready, please start sharing your screen and you can begin your presentation.
Okay, I'm here to share my screen, right? I'm the Night Call Bell team.
Hello everyone. Okay. Hello everyone. So I'm Yassine and I'm here with my teammate Jijan, and we're going to present our Night Call Bell project. Old people and people with disabilities need help at night. So the Night Call Bell team, the Night Call Bell project will help them get help as soon as possible. There are a lot of products available in the market, but they are expensive. So our project is like composed of two parts. We have the bell and we have the portable unit. So when activated, the bell part will send the notification to the portable unit. And the portable unit is made of LEDs, buzzer, and the bell unit is made of a buzzer also and LED. So the bell unit is voice activated with preset keywords, and we have robust connection because we're using Bluetooth 4.0, and after modifying the codes, we could have a small lag and a fast response. And finally, our project is affordable and it's light, and also it's nice to look at. I will hand the voice to Jijan.
Okay, here is a demo presentation. You can see this is a L unit, and this is a portable unit. And let's say the keyword like, hey, yeah, hey, yeah. and then the bell unit will respond like, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah. It turns to red, and then this portable unit will respond until you click this button. It will stop and reboot itself, like that.
Hey, yeah, hey, yeah.
Okay, that's all. Thank you for listening.
If you have questions.
Sure, judges, do you have any questions on the function or anything additional you'd like to know about how this is designed?
I guess I have a question because I have some experience with actually it's a light that I bought that's operable only on a wireless connection, and I have a lot of trouble connecting with it. And it drops out continuously, and I have to reboot it continuously. So I'm just wondering how you've tested the wireless connection, because if this is an issue of safety, I think you really need to concentrate on that aspect of it very carefully. The light that I have, it connects to, I forget the depending on the kind of modem that each person would have in their home, it would run on 2 different bandwidths. So I'm not sure how the actual robustness of the connection has been tested, but just wondering if you've considered that in your design.
Okay, we have set it up two automatic connection, Bluetooth connection between the devices. The first one is when you turn on both devices, it will automatically connect it because of this is a function of the motherboard we used, the Raspberry Pi. And then when the keyword is detected and this devices will connect the Bluetooth protocol again with this device. This is the second step, and we have another method, like the emergency method, because if these 2 devices didn't automatically connected with each other, you could long press the button here, and then you can see this yellow LED shining, which means you manually connected with them. That's all.
So you have some sort of feedback to tell you whether or not a connection has been made to the I guess
actually no, because we think it's no need to show the Bluetooth connection in our devices. It's just the working instruction light to show this voice recognition is working now.
So how far away can the actual bell be from the actual device that does the voice recognition?
Okay, we have used the protocol of Bluetooth 4, so we could provide the safety distance about within 10 minutes, and its signal is really powerful. It's so powerful that it could penetrate a cement wall like that.
Okay. So is the idea for the actual the bell or the bell portion could be like in another room that is through a cement wall, like like a floor away or 2 floors away or something like that?
Mm, uh, I, the floors away, I don't know because there's only one floor in my home, but it actually could penetrate a wall. Like like here, you live in the client living in her room, and the nurse working in another room, and there is a wall between them. These devices could function. Yes.
Okay. So I take it you have done some tests like to test the wireless connection under different conditions, or how have you gone about doing that test for to test the wireless connection?
You mean to tell the wireless connection or test the keyword recognition or not anything else? Just the Bluetooth connection, right?
Okay, great.
Also, we tested it like with different range. Like we use 10 meters, and we tested it with different range of voice too.
Oh, okay. Now yeah, that's the other important thing, I guess, the range of voices. Okay.
Are there any other quick questions? I didn't want to interrupt. Basically, we're trying to keep all presentations and questions roughly under and around 10 minutes or so, just to be fair to everybody. So is there anything else? Oh, we have Paul. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick question. So, and thank you for the presentation. I actually think this is very timely. We have kind of a rapidly aging population, as we're all aware of, and a large percentage of seniors who remain living in their own homes for longer periods of time. So I think this is very, very timely, sort of what you pulled together here in terms of context and feedback. So I guess the idea is that, yeah, okay, this is so that this is sort of almost like an emergency call to a caregiver inside the home, right? That's the general premise here that you're working from. Okay, that's excellent. I just wanted to kind of clarify that. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you for your presentation. And I'm going to call on team G2 to start their presentation, which is the opioid overdose monitoring.
Sorry, Jason, I need to ask my question. I don't know.
Sure, no, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, please, thank you. First of all, great job. I think you guys, it's not easy to build hardware, so I understand the challenges you've gone through. So well done. I do have a simple question. If you can replay to us, like, why do people need this device? Just in one statement, can you tell us why do we need it?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, you mean why do people need these devices, right? Because there are many elder people, maybe they're with disability, and they really need help at night, like that.
And what is the alternative right now? If they don't use this device, what is the other alternative that they could use?
Alternative. There are a lot of similar products in the market, but they are a little expensive. But our product is much more affordable.
So your use case, basically you're offering a sort of a cheaper product for an already existing market where there's an existing need.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Well done.
Okay, great. So I'll give all three judges a chance to chime in on each one. We have team G2, opioid overdose monitoring. So please present whenever you're ready.
Hello, can everyone see my screen? Okay. All right, so hello everyone. Hello judges, thank you for giving us your time today. We are team G2, the opioid overdose monitor team. Now, our client came to us with the idea for an opioid overdose monitor. So first we have to understand what an opioid overdose is. So first of all, an opioid is a drug which causes pain relief or a feeling of euphoria. Now, an overdose is an unintentional poisoning event. And while this is treatable by a drug called naloxone, this has to be administered very quickly to the patient. And so usually people don't have enough time or aren't reached in time. So as a result, this can be fatal due to cardiac arrest resulting from respiratory failure. So they literally cannot breathe and their heart stops. North America is currently facing an opioid crisis with 115,000 opioid-related deaths across the world in 2017. So this is clearly a problem in today's world. So what is our mission as our team? Our mission isn't to solve the opioid crisis, it's to prevent opioid-related deaths. So what is the problem? Well, first of all, users are very secretive. So for example, if I know someone and say, I say, I don't know anyone that uses opioids, I might not know that for sure because usually users are very secretive. So our device must be discreet as well because it has to not show to others that people are using opioids because they value their privacy. Opioids can also act very quickly, so the device must be quick. Minutes matter in this situation. There are also two indicators of overdose: blood oxygen saturation and respiratory rate. While blood oxygen saturation is easy to measure, it's not a very good indicator. Respiratory rate is a quicker indicator. Even if this is by 30 seconds to a minute, as we said, this matters. Minutes matter in this situation. So the pandemic has also hindered on-the-ground solutions, such as safe injection sites, where people can come into the site and inject under medical supervision. So we came up with a unique solution for this unique set of problems. We call it the mask monitor. This is a pulse oximeter attached to the strap of a mask that attaches to the earlobe, keeping the device hands-free. There's also a microcontroller and humidity sensor on the inside of the mask. And this connects via Bluetooth to a companion app. Now, assuming that the person has their phone on them, the companion app is designed to show readings and contact emergency personnel in case of an emergency. It also has a minimalist design philosophy and is highly customizable. So right now, I'll bring up the app. And we can see here, we can start the monitor using sliders. We can also call an emergency using sliders. This is to prevent any user error. I can also access the settings for the highly customizable options. And then I can also call an emergency here. There's also Bluetooth and help menus. And after a small countdown with vibration and sound, it will contact the emergency contact that we set previously. And now if I go into my messages here, we can see that it says that the opioid overdose monitor has been triggered, and it sends also a location. So it just sent the message. It also sends a location if the location is available. And now I'll hand you off to my colleague, Minju.
Now we are seeing a screen which is basically describing the breaths per minute, which is a very critical indicator for opioid overdose. It's very hard to maintain, but then because of the humidity sensor which is placed inside the masking monitor, we can measure the breath rate. As we can see, it's being monitored, and we have set a range, so the signal is being processed within the sensor, and then it goes to the app, and then the breath rate and then the saturation level is indicated to the emergency contact, and we can then help to the emergency contact as soon as possible.
Once again, judges, thank you for your time, and we'll not be taking any questions.
I'll jump in. Thanks again. I think this is very timely, and absolutely there is a huge need for monitoring and whatnot. So can you also replay, similar to my previous question, how does this monitor work? Is it on, like, I may have missed it, but where is this monitor running, and how do you give it to the patient?
So the monitor basically sits in an app. It's an Arduino sensor connected to the SpO2 module, and then a humidity sensor which is inbuilt in it, and then it's built in a mask. The module is connected via Bluetooth to the app, and then the signal is processed, and then the data is sent to the app, and then the app will see and figure out if it's an emergency, and it'll be triggered, and then you'll get the message to the emergency contact.
And just to elaborate on that, we basically give this to a user. The user, in this case, cares about their health, but doesn't want to go to a safe consumption site or tell anyone about this unless there's an emergency. So they value their privacy, but they also care a lot about their health. They take this device and this app and they use them together.
And the main reason it's in an app is because we had to leverage the COVID situation and put it inside a mask so that it's basically unidentifiable at the moment.
So maybe I'll just chime in there. I thank you also for for the presentation and the explanation. Again, I agree. It's a very timely issue, and I've had some because I work downtown in an area where there are a lot of people, street people. It always yeah, it's a concern that I think about a little bit. But the question I have is maybe it just relates in general, because in COVID there's always questions about how tightly the mask fits and how that would affect your monitoring of the breath. Like how have you tested that particular aspect of the design? The fact that there might be some gaps in the mask which might affect the readings? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question, and we did think about it. So if Aham can scroll down the slides, we actually created a survey with the mask, and we decided what can be a problem. And after this prototype, we are actually working on a pouch which can be placed over the sensor, and then it won't affect the humidity of our breaths. And then we've also tried and tested it under speaking conditions or without, the mask being loose, and also the mask is customizable. So we tried to change masks and then it didn't matter. So results were pretty consistent, but then we created a couple of prototypes to get to this result.
Okay, good. Thank you.
No problem.
And good job.
I'll just provide a quick little bit of feedback. Yeah, just like the other two judges, I think this is just an excellent, conceptually, this is in the right space. I think anything that can kind of help support harm reduction efforts in the community are more than required at this point, considering the rising rates of opioid addiction, not only as a result of the COVID situation. So I think you're definitely in the right space here. And I think what also I find interesting about this is that opioid addiction and the risk of opioid overdose does not just impact those who are in the most precarious situations across our community. It cuts across, every level of kind of socioeconomic risk. So I think, there could be definite interest for products similar to this. I'm just wondering, I guess it's, and I missed all there's a lot of technical details sort of at the beginning. I'm just wondering, like if it can be kind of customized, almost like this would be down the road for future iterations, but almost like a smartwatch device or something that could, that somebody could wear on their wrist, as opposed to putting into a mask, once we eventually get through this this COVID situation. I'm just wondering if those conversations came up during your design.
Well, absolutely. Actually, we did think about a lot of options, and we had the solution of having a smartwatch. We also came up with a glove so that it would sit on your hand and then the sensor would be inside it. We also measured a belt, and then we can measure the breath rate through it. So we have an option of a belt, a watch, a glove, or a locket, which would measure your heartbeat. So it's highly customizable. You just have to put the sensor and the SpO2 module with Arduino to a place where both of these elements can be measured. And also the app is also extremely customizable. So all in all, the device is basically what the user wants. It's not a single case scenario. It can be used for anybody and everybody.
I'd just like to add on to that, that when we spoke to the client about this, they were very excited at the idea of the device being hands-free, as well as measuring breath rate. And they said that this could have possible implications in other applications as well. So for example, someone sitting in a hospital, instead of having a lot of wires attached to them, their hands being obstructed by certain sensors, they can just wear a mask. And this protects both healthcare workers and monitors the patient.
That's great. Thank you. And great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, great, thank you. So we'll move on to the next presentation, which is Group G3, Team Leadership Simulator.
All right, I'm just sharing my screen right now. Hi, with the team leadership training simulation, I can think of. I'm Abdel Osman and
I'm Junsen.
yes. So we have a problem, and that problem is how do we teach people to be good leaders? Do we? Well, the question is, what is a good leader? Well, a good leader is someone who should be able to lead his team to fulfill its initial plan while allowing it to explore its great tendencies and to solve conflicts on its own while maintaining the original organization structure. And that is what we're trying to achieve in this project. And in this team-based online simulation, we're going on a camping trip. And so this camping trip will have two locations. Two locations ashore or in the middle of the camping site, and two roles, a camper and the leader, and you'll be the leader, and it'll be 5 activities, and each activity you'll be put in different situations where you'll be in conflict with your campers, trying to maintain the initial goals while trying to allow your campers to explore, and that will take over a course of 7 days, allowing you to get as many leader points as possible, and the campers to get as many camping points as possible. And you want a high communication ratio to be able to show how good of a leader you are while getting both points as high as possible, and the communication ratio is the 2 points divided on each other. And thus this is our prototype, and now I'll be going sending you off to Zoom.
And this is what the prototype looks like right now. Always start from a series of instructions to introduce the user how the system works and certain features such as the location and the energy system in the simulation. And the section at the top tells you what stage you are right now in the simulation. The first section has information on the current day and your team goals, and also the information relating to the current activities. The second section is where all the user interaction will take place in the system. You can also find the team goals here, and it's also where you make all the decisions moving to the next day, and also some system alerts. The third section here displays your personal information, such as your role, your personal goals, and some random assigned traits for campers. The fourth section is where your energy is at, and the last section displays your whole team's profiles. So now let's make a decision. Some campers want to go explore. Do you want to follow them, or do you want to stay on the trial? The system encourages campers to go explore, but they are risking getting injured if the leader chooses not to follow them. So the corresponding questions for the camper would be: would you like to explore, or would you like to go explore? However, it's the leader's top priority to keep the campers safe. So the leader may not want the campers to go explore. To make this decision, the team needs to communicate with each other effectively, and some need to make compromises and to resolve the conflict. And that's how it works in the prototype. And that's it from us. Any questions?
Okay, just to clarify before the judges' questions period, we'll typically keep the presentations around 7 minutes, and we'll have about 3 minutes or so for questions. So maybe 1 or 2 questions per judge. And then at the end, we can always come back and ask further questions, just to keep things on time. So yeah, go ahead. So I'll just let the judges chime in whenever they want. I won't ask or introduce you every time.
I'll jump in first here. This looks like a lot of fun. Like I feel like I want to play with it a little bit and work through the different scenarios. I like that it's kind of almost like gamified to a certain degree, and where, you know, this is this is kind of an interesting tool. I happen to be a program director at my cottage community association. When, you know, typically we hire, you know, dozens of kids every year to run field sports, basketball, canoe, kayak, swimming programs. And many of them, you know, we want to give them an opportunity, but we want to, you know, coach them a little bit in terms of leadership, and this kind of application could, you know, certainly help kind of fit that bill. But I'm just wondering, just because we didn't kind of work through an entire scenario, but it's, you know, you're kind of given a bit of a simulation, right? And that's the idea here, that you're presented with a scenario and you have to kind of think through, you know, what the right decision will be. And I'm just sort of, I'm sorry, I'm working off a small screen here. So you then get kind of a leadership score at the end. Is that what the outcome is in terms of the result of your decision making?
Yes.
Okay. And it's like is it like a percentage, I guess, on a?
Oh no, it's just points.
Just points.
Oh,
okay.
Just the number of points you get.
Okay, and you can work as a team to kind of work through these scenarios.
Yeah, you have to work like all like it's a multiple player game. So
right. Oh, interesting. Okay, thank you.
I'll go last. Charlene, you want to go? Okay, great. Well, without sounding biased, I like it. I think, and I'll tell you why I like it, because leadership is a major problem in almost every single organization. And I know you guys built it for a sort of a recreational activity, but it does apply in the corporate space and in other spaces. So my question to you is, what other thoughts have you had in terms of applying this in the corporate world?
Like also the scenario, which is a camping trip here, in our case, but like it's a recreational case, but I think a lot of decision here, a lot of decision making, and also the and also how you to resolve the conflict like between different like users, like those stuff are interchangeable like in different scenarios. With like it doesn't matter whether you are in a corporate setting or you are in a real camping trip.
Thank you.
Hi there. Thank you for the presentation. I think it sounds like a lot of fun to play with something like this. Almost like the possibilities are almost endless in terms of how it could be used. I guess I just wanted a clarification on, maybe I missed it, on how you determine what the specific qualities to be tested are, because there's so many leadership qualities that that are important. One of them being listening skills and things like that. So it seems like there's a lot of different ways the leadership skills could be assessed. I guess I wasn't quite clear. Maybe I just missed it. Like, is it all? It's all scenario based, so that there are different like real life situations that maybe I'll just let you explain that a little bit better.
Yes, like we said, there are like 7 days in the simulation, and during each day there are multiple decisions you need to make for each user. So yes, there are. So it is a scenario based, and there are many scenarios. Yeah, just like in real life. And how we gonna are like how are we gonna access the leadership is through the decision making and also the points that we get in the simulation. And one thing we think is very important is the communication between between the teammates. Yeah, and how the way we access that is or through like a point system where we can like for example we can just calculate how we can calculate the energy level at the end for on each team member, if everyone is at very high level of the energy, which means the team made very good decision, and in that case the team leader have succeed. So another thing we can do is by giving it more by giving it more decisions to make, and also we can just calculate the number of the decisions the team made. Like in real life is that like we believe as more decision you made in a team, the more communication will went on in the team as well.
Oh, it sounds really interesting. So basically, if I understand it correctly, each team leader would make a self-assessment. Is that the idea?
No, it's not a self-assessment. The final outcome is calculated by the points. Everything is calculated based on the points you get, and you can get different points by making different decisions. Like for example, in the case that I presented earlier, if you choose to follow the campers to who choose to go to explore, and as a leader you would get more points. But as a camper, if you if you go to explore but you get hurt, then you will lose points. So the team has to communicate with each other. For example, how many people choose to go, how many people choose to go explore. If the majority of the people choose to go explore, the leader should follow them to make sure as a team they can get higher points. But if there's just one person to go to explore and the majority of the team stay on the trial, the leader should stay on the trial to get a higher points as a team.
Okay, so the team leader would enter in, if a child goes to explore something, the team leader would enter in a certain would enter in the information, and then a score would be developed based on how many children chose to explore or chose to do particular activities, and et cetera, et cetera. The only thing I wonder about is, children get hurt, and sometimes it has nothing to do with the actual ability of the team leader. It's just it just happens. So I'm just wondering how that would impact the scoring. In our simulation, like one camper choose to go explore, there is a possibility of that camper to get hurt, just like in the real life. So the camper, they themselves, they have to take that risk, if they choose to go to explore. I mean, they can always choose not to, so they can stay 100% healthy and safe. But it's their decision to choose to do so or not. At the end of the day, the decision for the camper, whether you want to go explore or not, it's up to you. But as a leader, you have the ability, and you have the and you have the ability, and you also have the responsibility to to inform the campers the risks and. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun to actually explore different scenarios. It's just so many things that one could consider. But Yeah, an interesting framework to build on, I think.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you for the presentation and the questions. Can we move to group Entry Smarter Lights? I hope I spelled that correctly. Sustainable Smart Home.
Yeah, hello. Hello, everyone. All right, can you hear us okay?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, then we will get going here. Share screen. Just let me share my screen. All right, so hi, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to listen to our presentation today. This is our electrical engineering capstone project, and it's called Entry Smarter Lights.
So our mission is to fully automate the process of controlling lights. We created a system which detects if a space is occupied and proceeds to maintain a user-set luminance in the room while considering the natural light in the environment. This system implements hardware around each entryway to rooms that the user wants automated and has a companion mobile application to control the system. So how it works is if someone enters the room, the lights will automatically turn on. And if the last person leaves the room and there's no one left, the lights will turn off. The user sets the intensity preference in the mobile application. And as long as there's someone in the room, that exact level of luminance will be set. And there are currently no comparable products on the market.
Okay, so in terms of hardware installation, we are giving the customers two options. The first is a door module in combination with multiple light modules. So here is our door module. It consists of a ESP8266 microcontroller with two ultrasonic sensors, a photoresistor, a reset button, and it can be powered either by batteries or a DC power adapter, depending on the preference of the user. So it uses the ultrasonic sensors to track the occupancy in the room. It can figure out the direction which people are moving through the door in order to count them. And it uses a photoresistor to measure the light intensity in the room so that the lights can be controlled with the PID controller. It sends commands to the light modules via Wi-Fi. And here is our light module here. Again, it contains a ESP8266 microcontroller. And the whole thing is powered on mains voltage through your light socket. And to run the ESP safely, we chose a voltage regulator, which steps it down to 5 volts DC. And there is an AC dimmer module, which dims any dimmable bulbs via PWM through the ESP microcontroller. Now, option 2 for hardware installation, instead of having all of these separate modules, we have a single light switch replacement. So you can see there on the bottom, we've got the regular switch, and you can stick this system into the wall. It essentially contains all of the components from our door and light modules previously. So the photoresistor for measuring light, the ultrasonics for counting the occupancy, and it connects right into the main voltage lines in your wall, and the dimmer module is connected to the wires, which control all of the lights in the room. So the benefits of this hardware option are the lower overall cost because of less units, improved system response because you don't have the latency with the Wi-Fi connection between the other modules, and it works with any dimmable bulbs that the user might already have. Now, both of these hardware options do work with our Android application, so it basically just allows the user to set their brightness preference and offers them manual control. So we've got just basic control, light increase, light decrease. You can turn them right off. And there are two visual indicators as to the status of the lights. So the picture lights up if the lights are on, and there is also the progress bar to show how intense the light is. We'll just do a quick demonstration video for you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for your time. We'll take any questions.
I can jump in and go first here. Thanks for the presentation, guys. This looks really cool. I'm just wondering how this sort of differentiates itself, I guess, from some of the other smart lights that exist out there in terms of the, and I'm from the old school. I still use light switches, but I'm just wondering how it differentiates from like these Google Nest or other kind of home devices.
Yeah, of course. So existing smart lights, they don't have any kind of automatic powering on and powering off. You can set timers, I guess, but this just offers the option to have the lights on when the room is occupied, and as soon as you leave, they turn off. With typical smart lights, you would have to pull out your phone, turn it on and off manually, or run the light switch. And in terms of occupancy detecting, so typically motion lights, they use a single passive infrared sensor in the roof of the room. And when it detects a heat signature walking in for a person, it will just turn the lights on for a set amount of time. But I'm sure you've been in a room before where the lights are automatic. You walk in, they turn on, everything is good. But then you sit down for half an hour and the next thing you know, you're sitting in the dark, waving your arms around, trying to turn them back on. So we kind of fixed that issue. I should mention that there are other occupancy counting systems that exist, but as far as we know, none of them tie in with lighting systems. And these systems are all very expensive, upwards of $400, because they tend to use not only an infrared sensor, but a camera with machine learning to recognize people.
Also, for our system, as we mentioned, it controls the level of luminance in the room. So there's actually a PID controller that makes sure the brightness in the room stays the same no matter if it's getting dark outside or if the sun's rising in the morning. The brightness in the room will always be the same brightness. So it controls the lights based on the room brightness as well. And there's no products like that right now.
So it's that sensor-based functionality that's the value add here, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I'll jump in next. Great work, guys. I think, again, being in the hardware space is never easy. And I commend you for doing the solution. I think it's needed. I do actually have we have a sort of a home control system. And based on that, I'm going to ask you this question. So there are existing controllers and systems that manage, let's call home automation or smart homes. So 2 questions for you. One, what is patentable in your solution? What do you think you can patent? And 2, have you considered or tested integration with home control solutions?
Okay, so in terms of the patent, it's both very good questions. We could possibly patent the use of ultrasonic sensors, or alternatively, we were going to use passive infrared sensors. We could potentially patent the use of 2 of them in parallel in order to determine the occupancy of the room. I think that is the real unique thing here, because other occupancy detection systems are super expensive compared to this. And
yeah, so what are you saying about the 2 sensors? So what we're doing is we're figuring out directional movement. So we're using the 2 sensors to figure out, is the person walking into the room or is the person walking out of the room?
And I'm sorry, your second question was about integration.
My second question was, so I have a Control4 solution, which I know you probably know what that is. Basically, it's a home automation. I control everything from my phone. But so obviously, you're coming to a space where it's already, there is, I shouldn't say competition, but there are existing solutions. So have you considered integration? And is your solution integrable with? You can integrate it in something else.
Yeah, so actually that was the plan from the start. We were going to integrate with Google Home and Amazon Alexa smart home. I'm not sure if that's exactly the same thing you're talking about, but in order to get into that, we would have to have a partnership with Google or Amazon in order to have access to that infrastructure and be able to be integrated into their application. But I think given the time and more development resources, it would be integrable into other systems, yes.
Yeah, it was more of a time constraint because, as we said, it's a capstone project, so we've only been working on it for a few months. We didn't have the time to reach out to them and grab their software and try and integrate it with ours, get the approval, all of that.
Yeah, I would be interested to talk to you after the competition if you guys are interested. Thank you.
Yes, okay, thank you. All right, anybody else?
Hi. this sounds pretty cool. I think um, yeah, I am pretty old school when it comes to lighting, but I certainly, as an artist, I'm very interested in the quality of light. Is this home control solution it's for it basically ties into an existing home situation, so you don't actually provide the lighting. Is that correct?
We don't actually provide the lighting.
There's two options. The one where there's a door module, we had to make our own sort of smart lights, and we had a picture of a prototype there where there's a 3D printed housing. So we did actually have to make the light so it works with our system. But in terms of the switch, the door switch module, that one is just integrated with your mains in your house. So you could use whatever dimmable bulbs you buy in the market. That's why we have the multiple options, because some people wouldn't want to go into their light socket and touch the 120 volts in their house. So we give them the other option.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I have encountered some issues with dimmable lights. I don't know whether that would be an issue with this particular design, but I do use dimmable lights quite a lot, and it's very specific to I guess the actual module that's used to dim the lights and the actual compatibility of the light bulbs.
Yes.
Because I find both the flicker and the quality of the light, and as well as the flicker is the main thing that's a bit troublesome for me.
Yeah, so if we gave our own set of lights like these light modules, we could do further testing to find the exact brightnesses where there's minimal to no flicker and only implement those for the user to be able to set. But as of right now, we just have set points throughout the range. So there is some flicker.
Yes, it's definitely a compatibility issue, like you said. We tested a couple of different brands of dimmable LED bulbs, and this is just a property of the dimmable LEDs. They're not nearly as nice to work with as the incandescents, just because of the nature of them. And the dimmer module that we chose did have some compatibility issues. So we would have to do further work in that.
Okay, great. Good that you've considered it, though, because I think it's a big consideration for me personally in my lighting situations.
Yeah, definitely. It is the biggest problem that we currently have.
Yeah, I've actually had trouble finding good quality LED lit dimmable lights that don't have that issue.
Okay, so it's not just us. Okay.
No, I've actually trying to get high CRI lights, but there's only a limited number of companies in the States that make like CRI 90 plus that are dimmable, and they're very expensive.
Okay, might be worth looking into. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thank you for that. So the next presentation we have is ML7, Automated Machines for Winter Utilities for Homeowners. Is ML7 present today? Because I know we are missing one of the teams, which is the automated snowplow. So if ML7 is not here, we're going to jump to the Crusaders, Healthcare for Indigenous Communities. So is there a representative from that team here?
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, excellent. So
my partner is in a class right now, but I could talk about it if that's still okay.
Yeah, sure. I mean, okay. So I mean, we don't really have anybody else at the moment. So.
All right.
Sorry, what's the team name for?
It is the Crusaders that is up next. We are skipping ML7 and Caribou for the moment. While Caribou, the snowplow will not be here, but ML7 appears to not be here as well. So we're going to move on to Crusaders.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen right now. So, hello everyone. So my name is Amy and my team member's name is Joel. Right now she's in a class, so she wouldn't be able to attend yet. So basically, let's look at the case study, a city of Iqaluit. So they have approximately 8,000 members in this community. They experience great health disparities, which are rooted in systemic racism and negligence. Now, there's a problem with access to medical services, transportation, and waste management. Now, this indigenous community, they're a very overlooked population. For example, tuberculosis is reported to be 70 times more prevalent in this community compared to the national average. Now, when we look at COVID-19 as a case study, COVID symptoms such as apoxia can go undetected and diagnosed. And now that they already have limited access to medical services, it could be very detrimental for managing the health of the population. So now our solution is to have a medical watch, and incorporated in that medical watch is a virtual clinic appointment. So first of all, we're going to have a medical workup. So the medical workup will consist of getting a better understanding of an individual's medical history. Afterwards, we'll provide like a medical diagnostics, predictions will be made to adequately cater for the individual, and then they'll be enrolled into the eye care program. Now we'll look at the medical watch and look at its functionalities. So we have the pulse oximeter. So this measures the oxygen levels of the wearer. And then we'll also have a thermometer that measures the temperature. And then we also have an ECG that measures the heart rate. So now this watch is basically an early prevention and detection device, and it's could help provide early signs for potential COVID and tuberculosis, for example. So now this is the prototype for the watch. So we are not like, this is not like a class project. So it's just a design we had. So we don't really have any hardware built yet. So basically this is the watch. So you have your pulse oximeter attached to one end of the watch. So this will measure the oxygen levels and the respiration of the wearer. Then you have your ECG attached towards the base. So the ECG is basically going to monitor for irregular heartbeats and other beat patterns. And then you have your thermometer. So now this is what the application will look like. Incorporated in iCare is an application where you could check your heart rate, your temperature, your pulse, and then you could schedule appointments with the doctor. You could also check your progress results and also provide us with a feedback. So basically what this whole idea about is that you could book an appointment right from your house. You don't really have to go into a hospital to book an appointment. And then you could send all the data collected by the watch to the hospital if you desire it. You could also book a virtual appointment with a doctor. So incorporated in the app would be like a video teleconferencing functionality where you could book a virtual appointment with a doctor, and then all your data gets sent to the doctor if you want your data to be sent to the doctor. So you don't have to go in person for the doctor to get your data. And then you could also get a personalized healthcare plan from the healthcare service provider. So now the watch will come from recyclable materials. So iCare would be a beneficial addition to the ongoing medical infrastructure provided in this community, because it will help address the problem of limited transportation options, especially during this pandemic. It will also address the concerns of not being able to access medical resources due to like if there are many people in medical hospitals, not everybody will be able to have access to doctors, and then to also improve and increase the diagnosis of diseases and some sicknesses early. Thank you. Yeah, this is the end of presentation.
Jewel, is there anything you wanted to add? Because I noticed that you joined the call.
Hi, sorry. Yes. I think right now Annie has done a pretty good job, but if there are any other questions.
So I could sort of kick things off here. Thanks. I think this is kind of interesting that you know, any kind of intervention to help bridge some of the health inequalities, particularly in vulnerable communities, you know, definitely has some advantages there. I'm just wondering how this sort of differs, I guess, from some of the other products that exist on the market now. I know there is some additional functionality that provides almost like a, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it sort of like a live feed to a primary care physician? Is that the idea? So that's like more like a monitoring, data monitoring, as opposed to like some of the, I guess, the functionality of a fitness tracker, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
this is more specific. Okay. Okay, that's good. Thank you.
I'll jump in. Just a quick question. Have you got the name of the solution? Have you guys thought about the impact it could make from a sensitivity sort of a point of view?
Sorry, say that again. I didn't get your question.
Like the name of the product or the app, it's Crusader.
No, I care. Crusader is the name of the team. IKEA is the name of the product. Yeah.
Thank you.
Charlene, do you have anything that you'd like to ask?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I would echo the other judge's comment that it sounds like a worthwhile product to pursue, just to address some of the inequities in the communities in the north. But you know, I'm just thinking, since you don't quite have a hardware prototype, have you done some work on developing some of the software app? I wasn't quite clear on that.
So right now, like we've just kind of developed like a background layout. Like we haven't really spent more time into like developing like an actual software program. We have like a basic layout, just like a wireframe kind of prototype on how we want the app to look like and how the application would display the kind of data that we get. But like we actually haven't actually developed like an actual software program yet. Yeah. Like this is like just an idea we had, but like we haven't really actually started like building like actual physical devices yet.
Yeah, I'm just curious as to how, I mean, in terms of the indigenous communities of the north, I'm thinking that I'm just thinking about accessibility. Like, is this the type of hardware that would be could be produced at a cost that would allow it to be used by a large, yes, affordable, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
So basically in this community there are problems with like recycling as well and waste management. So our plan is to use recyclable materials, because like we are a very strong believer of developing like a sustainable environment. So our idea is to use materials that could be recycled from like the community and like the recyclable materials, so it would be affordable for them.
Yeah, one thing I could add just to what Annie is saying is that with this specific community, we noticed that, and he kind of mentioned it, but we noticed that they don't have a recycling program already, which is why we looked at this specific community. So when it comes to building the actual device itself, we'd be able to use materials that they already have. So implement or kind of make a recycling program, which would be beneficial to their population in general, and then also use this, like the materials that we have or the materials that they have, in order to make the watch itself.
So are you saying that the actual prototypes and the manufacturing is something that could be done in those communities? Is that the idea?
Yes, that's the general idea. Yeah, it's something that we could develop these materials within the community that we're trying to help. We're just using this particular community as a point of contact to like a larger, community that would need our service. So we'll be able to like use the materials gotten from that community to develop the devices that we need.
So have you looked at what kind of materials would be required, in like specifically what types of material would be required, and if they would actually be available?
So right now we've looked at the kind of material the watch itself will be made out of. So we want we want a watch that is rubber, first of all, like something that is resistant. So we want like a rubber watch. And then for the pulse oximeter, we can't really make that in that specific community, but like the actual like watch itself, without like the actual watch, the outfit of the watch would be made from within the materials in the community. So we've also looked at the kind of ECGs and EKGs we would use to monitor the heartbeats. So for those ones, we will use like a basic we could use like a Raspberry Pi, like a CPU that will like read the heart rate. But like those actual materials, we wouldn't be able to get that from the community, but we'll be able to get like the materials for the watch, like the author of the watch from that community.
Okay, I have some experience with dealing with some people who have traveled extensively to the north and lived in that culture, and you may be surprised that even things as simple and not even technological things like installing parks or like children's play structures or something. It's not as simple as you think as far as implementation. So it would be something to consider, like if you're going to address something for the Indigenous community, I think you have to take into consideration just some of the logistical aspects and the user needs and the environment that it would go into, because I think it's not quite as simple as you might think.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Great. Okay, thank you. So I think that probably concludes our presentations. If ML7, last call, is not here, I suspect they are not. So basically, we normally at 1:30 send the judges to the deliberation room. So there is a breakout room here. You'll notice if you click on breakout rooms for the judges, if you scroll down, there's going to be you'll see open deliberation, a room that you can join called open deliberation. So that is usually at 1:30. Now, if there's any other questions or conversations that you wanted to have with anybody up until then, we can definitely do that, because we do have this additional time. Because I know a lot of the questions sometimes are meant to, or even sometimes you want to have suggestions that could help these teams move along with their projects. This might be a time to do that. And then if not, if the questions end, then we can just move directly to the deliberation room. So just get that over with. And then for all the members that are here, Basically, once the questions are over, you could technically leave this call and come back to the main room where everyone joins earlier for the award ceremony that is at 1:55. So basically giving the judges 25 minutes to deliberate and count the scores and all that. So are there any other questions that we'd want to discuss with the teams right now? Just something that you maybe didn't have time to ask while we were in between presentations?
I just have a couple of comments for the some teams, particularly that's around leadership. I think you have a great product, great idea, but I would certainly start investigating use cases in other domains, not just sports, because they're probably going to be more lucrative for you if you actually intend to build a product.
Thank you.
And for the lighting team, like you want to get out of our business, try to focus on retrofitting your solution into some existing hardware. The most expensive thing in the world is to hire some guy or come in and change the locks of the doors. So what you want are modules that could plug into a light bulb or fit into a sort of a flip switch. You don't want anything that causes somebody to bring, any hardware or like a plumber type person to install it. It needs to be easily installed. And you ought to look at the market when it comes to the solutions for home automation. Control4 is one of the biggest companies, and they actually have more footprint than Google Home. I'm not saying don't do Google Home, but I would look at Control4 as well.
Okay, we'll definitely take a look at that. But in terms of having someone install something, that's why we had the two options. We have one option where you just double-sided tape something around your door, either plug in some batteries or plug it in to a wall adapter, and then screw in the lights, and that's it.
Yeah, this won't affect my feedback project, but that was just a general thing.
We consider that. Thank you.
Great. Okay, well, if there aren't any other questions for the members or any discussions to be had, I think that we can have the judges go to the deliberation room. So if you look again down to the breakout rooms button that's at the bottom of your window, you'll see, you can scroll all the way down and you'll see, well, about at the middle, depending on what's expanded right now, you'll see open deliberation, and it's a room that you can join. So I'll suggest that the judges join that room. We can go there now, and then I will come in.
Jason, how do I? Sorry, Jason.
Yeah.
How do I see that button? Where is it? Where is the button on the screen?
Yeah, I'll show you. If you go to the bottom, like I'll share my screen here for a second, and I'll show you.
Yeah. I don't know. Leave room. That's the only option I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I go, I don't know if you can see this here. I'm trying.
Share screen don't work on Zoom, so if you share screen, it won't actually show Zoom. So
that's the thing. Yeah. Okay, so there's basically if you scroll down to the bottom of the window, like right now I have tiles where I see everybody. Okay, you can send them to that room. Perfect. So our helper is going to send you to the room. Perfect. I think that's the thing. Maybe as hosts, we can actually send people and whatnot. So. So how did you do that anyway? Is there, because when I click on breakout rooms, I can join a room, but I thought I was co-host. Oh, I think maybe.
I don't know, but I do have options in breakout room. When I click on the user, I can see move to option on the right.
Oh, like on the three little bubbles that you click, like the little three on the window itself? Oh no, when you click in the
No,
participants list.
in the breakout room. In the breakout room button at the bottom line, I clicked on that, and one window came up, and I clicked on the user, and one
Right.
move button came in, and so I clicked on that.
Okay. Well, I'll let you do that then.
So I have to send only judges to that that room, right?
Yes. So they are there
If
now.
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So you've sent them to that room now? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone who's here now, like I said, there is a tell students to stay in category room unless they are going to break our room with a client, which is not the case because we don't have clients for this category. So what I would suggest is either you can stay in this call and then eventually we'll get moved back to the main room. But if you do have to leave for any reason, you can, because we do have until 1:55 to wait to rejoin the main room. So I'm leaving it up to you to either just stay on this call and just mute and shut your camera off and wait until then, or come back and join the main room link at 1:55 basically. Because this room will automatically get merged back to the main room, or you can just re-click on the, there's a link in the schedule anyways to go back to the main room where we all joined initially. So that will be that, and I will eventually join the judges to go speak with them. I'll just give them a break to talk a little bit first. And thanks again for the presentations.